Welcome to Mel's Diner, a place where stories and songs build community and connections. My name is Matthew Merson, and each guest at Mel's Diner heads over to the Jukebox, selects really important, sentimental, and valuable songs to them, and then shares those stories of how each song gained that personal and powerful meaning in their life. So let's order some food, a cup of coffee, and grab a seat at the counter and listen to some of those amazing stories and songs. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, my friends. Welcome into Mel's Diner. As always, we got room for you at the counter, in the booth, wherever you want to sit. I'm just so glad you're here. We have an amazing conversation, as we always do here at Mel's, but we have an amazing conversation today with my cousin, Laura Allnutt. She joined me here at Mel's for some turkey clubs and some great music and some amazing stories about her life, kind of where she is now, but how she got there through some, beautiful memories of childhood, but also through a lot of lessons of pain and struggle and anxiety that she navigated as a young adult and into her adult life. And it was just really powerful conversation. Even though she's my cousin and we spent a lot of time, growing up together, there's a lot that I learned about her through our conversation. So it was awesome. And I really hope that you hear her stories. And if you find yourself in similar situations, find hope through what she's talking about, and all of it from some great music. You can listen to all of Laura's picks in the Spotify or Apple playlist generated there in the show notes. Just click on whichever link you like. It'll take you to the music. But do that after we talk about these songs, after these conversations. We get into some, like I said, some amazing stuff. Her favorite song from a movie, song about a very sweet and special best friend that she has. Songs from summertime, swimming pool music, all sorts of great stuff. And then we get into some songs that helped her put words to feelings that she may not quite have understood at the time. Feelings of anxiety, perfectionism, pressure that she was feeling in careers and jobs and organizations that weren't healthy. Songs that helped her through that, like an Adele song that helped her through that. Really, really incredible. Songs that helped her in her faith and her values, and her spiritual journeys. Songs that just gave her strength as she realized, she's been through some stuff. She's had some hard times. Songs that she can lean on that, just help her understand that, I may have been not in the situation like this, but I've been in situations, similar, and I've made it through, and I have strength. My scars actually give me some strength to face the day. And I love, kind of the end, she talks about a song that helps her focus, on the present. I think a lot of us, and I can speak for me personally, we may, think about I may think about the past and think about what I could have done differently. And I think a lot about the future. Like, man, how do I get to where I want to be? How do I get to have, more of good things in my life? And all in the meanwhile, just kind of forgetting to enjoy the present. And a song that really roots and grounds her to focus on the present. It was a really good reminder for me to do the same thing. So thank you, Laura. Thank you for coming in. And thank you, listener, for coming into Mel's Diner. I'm so glad you're here. If you are here and enjoy these stories here that you've been hearing at Mel's Diner and you would like to join me, or you have some songs that are important to you, I would love to talk to you as well. Feel free to reach out. Mel's Diner Jukebox at gmail.com. I'd love to set up a time where we can talk and record some conversations. But in the meantime, check out Laura's stories. Check out her songs. They're incredible. And Mel has some picks for you as well. So there on the link beneath Laura's Jukebox picks, you'll see some picks that Mel picked this week. So Mel has 5 incredible songs that kind of, stuck out for him this week. First one's from 1956. So a classic rock and roll song, I'm Gone by Shirley and Lee. Just really, really great. Early rock and roll, R&B. It's so cool. Such a great song. I'm Gone by Shirley and Lee. We're going to fast forward to 2021. Boz Mertzstoff with Sails Across the Sea. This is just an incredible folky sounding jam at. I just really like this song a lot. Um, Track number three from 2022's album by Friendship, the band Friendship. We have Saint Bonaventure. I love this song so much. It has a very um, kind of a literary tone to it. I really like this song, Saint Bonaventure. It's great. We're going to have track number four, 2016's All Around You by Midnight Faces. This is a very synth pop, 80s sounding song. Midnight Faces. This whole album is incredible. They're a great band. If you're into synth pop, if you're into then the 80s or nostalgic feel, Laura, um, I know she is, and you'll hear her talk about some nice 80s tunes, 80s ballads. But this song kind of fits that same vibe, but it's a modern take. It's really, really great. And then finally, we're going to end with Song of Love by Stephen Stills, 1972, the album Manassas. Just, if you think about rock and roll or just great music from the 70s, this is going to fit right there. This whole album's incredible. Stephen Stills, obviously, one of the greatest to ever do it. And this song I heard this week, just really, really reminded me of how great this track was, how great this album is. So there you go. Those are Mel's picks. You can listen to all of those songs there on that whatever playlist you prefer, Spotify or Apple. Just click on those links, but do it after you listen to Laura's music and Laura's stories. So without further ado, let's get into this conversation. Welcome to Mel's Diner. So glad you're here. Well, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Welcome to Mel's Diner. Why don't you tell us who you are and where you just came in from?
I'm Laura, and I just came in from the greater Cincinnati area,
We've known each other for a very long time.
like my whole life.
I've known you for your entire life. And that is because you're my cousin. You're my first cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And first, as in descendant wise, you're my dad's sister's daughter. So first cousin, but you're also my first cousin I ever had, I think.
Yeah.
So
When I was born, I had a cousin on each side of the family. My dad's brother had a daughter, and of course, my mom's brother had you. So I had a cousin either side. I was the second.
Yeah. Well, who was your favorite?
Obviously.
Obviously, my younger brother, Wesley.
Well, actually, that's funny that you said that. I felt like growing up, it kind of just like swayed differently. Like sometimes I felt like Wes and I just jived really well, and you and Chrissy just kind of jived really well, and then other times you and I jived more, and Wes and Chrissy were. I think we all just got along really well.
Yeah, we all just got along. And we spent a lot, it's summertime. We spent a lot of summers together. Your siblings and me and my brother, we practically lived at your house for multiple summers.
Yeah.
You guys had a pool, which was pretty sweet.
And a great driveway for riding bikes.
Great driveway for riding bikes, playing cops and robbers, and all sorts of good, childhood. We grew up in Maryland, both you and I.
Mhm.
And some really sweet memories. So I'm glad you're here at Mel's Diner.
Thanks. I'm glad I could be here.
Yeah. What was speaking of like growing up, like what was music like for you? Was music a big part of like your childhood or like when you were growing up or adolescence? Like, yeah, what was music like? What was your relationship to it?
Oh, it's been a huge part of my life. I actually was a music major in college for a year and a half.
Really?
Um, I was a violin major, and the reason I quit was that I realized playing the violin was really fun, but I did not in any way want to perform for a living. And so you don't, very few people get to make a living off being a performative violinist, whether in an orchestra or like anything. So, like, I don't even like performing. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing with my life? So,
So you love the music, but maybe not playing music live in front of people. Maybe is what
yeah,
I'm hearing.
yeah.
So was it did like you played the violin or the fiddle?
Well, kind of both, but mostly the violin.
Okay. So did you like, was it like orchestral music that you were listening to, or like, or was it that, what kind of music were you listening to?
I listen to a lot. I have a very eclectic music repertoire. Partly because my mom, because I grew up with all the oldies like Elvis Presley and Hank Williams and Don Williams and with all the good old Loretta Lynn, Conway Twitty, and then um because of the pool, I don't know if we did this with you and Wes, but my sisters and I loved listening to Dean Martin when we were swimming because he just has like such a fantastic summer sound.
I
Um,
don't know. I don't recall Dean Martin being played. I mean, if he was, I wasn't paying attention, but
Probably didn't
yeah.
turn it when you guys were there, but yeah, that was a favorite. And then um, I kind of picked up other music along the way once I uh, kind of grew up. Well, I guess during my teen years, I got into a lot of classical music. Like I was really into Vivaldi. I loved popping in the Four Seasons and just like lying on my bed and listening to the Four Seasons play. And it was really cool because my sister Chrissy played the flute, and Jen, my youngest sister, played the cello. And so all those instruments kind of come into Vivaldi. And so we could all just like lie there and imagine ourselves playing the songs. And uh, yeah, so then I also paid attention a lot to music and movies. I've really loved um, compositions, like musical scores. They've been actually a really significant part of my music life. And a lot of the songs that I like have come from like sometimes it's like the track at the end of the movie when the credits are rolling and that kind of thing. And roommates that I've had through the years, like when I was in college and grad school. Yeah, so I've kind of picked up a really eclectic collection of music. But what's interesting today, I actually don't listen to music with lyrics all that often. I'm more of an instrumental person, and I've got a Victrola downstairs, and I love to pop in a record of like Vivaldi or Mozart or Schubert or one of these guys that just plays like fantastic. And they tell a story, even though there isn't words, they tell a story through that sound. It just kind of carries you away with the emotion of it.
Yeah, 100%. That's amazing. Do you have a favorite like movie score, like a movie soundtrack? Like, or if you had to pick a top one, like what comes to your mind? Maybe you don't have a, it's a hard question, but like what comes to your mind? What's one of your favorites?
You're gonna laugh. The
I'm
Rocky
not gonna laugh.
soundtrack is my favorite soundtrack of all time.
Rocky?
Yes.
That's not, did Sylvester, how did that music come about? Because Sylvester Stallone wrote that movie. Like, who scored it? I don't know.
Bill Conti he was like he was over the music. He didn't write all the music in it, but yeah, and he did the first two Rocky movies. I forget who was over the music for the other ones. I was just on the road last weekend and my friend and I were listening to Hearts on Fire, and I said, this is from Rocky 4. And my friend was like, "Oh yeah, I thought that other song was Rocky 4." I was like, "No, that's that one too." Rocky 4 is basically like 30 minutes of story and 45 minutes of 80s music montage and then 30 minutes of story.
That's why Everett's everyone's favorite. Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. Rocket.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. I really like Charlie Chaplin movies. Charlie Chaplin.
Mhm.
Um, One thing about Charlie Chaplin is if you watch, you know, well, almost, nine, I don't know how the percentage, most of his movies, there's no audio or there's just music in the background.
Yeah.
And he actually composed and wrote that music.
Oh wow.
He actually composed those soundtracks. And in certain movies, like when the opening credits, and there was a singer, that was him singing. Like
Oh
especially
wow.
in the circus, Charlie Chaplin movie, The Circus, there's this opening song about you'll never see rainbows looking down. Like there's a whole song. He wrote it, wrote the music, wrote the lyrics, sang it. Yeah, yeah. The man was a genius.
Yeah.
Um, and then made some of the greatest movies and produced them and all that stuff. Anyway, this is a music podcast, not a movie podcast. But so if you like soundtracks and composers, I would, yeah, maybe look up some Charlie Chaplin music.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's very vaudeville,
Mhm.
turn of the century, 19,
1900s, 1920s, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
well, what's music like to you now as an adult?
Music is very evocative for me. I'm not somebody who can have music on while I work because I have words going through my head constantly. And so to have music playing while I'm working is like somebody trying to talk to me while I'm trying to work. And I even feel that way even with a lot of instrumental. If it's very like elevator music, it's fine because they're not telling a story. They're just like trying to keep you calm. So that's fine. But I really don't like music on during the day because when it's on, I want to be all in listening to it.
That's
So,
great. And
um,
I'm glad that you listen to this music on vinyl too, because I feel like that's a it's such like a you have to be present for it, you know.
yeah.
Man, that's cool. All right, so I want to hear your song. So we here at Mel's Diner, we have this amazing jukebox, right?
Yes.
Has almost every song in the world. Um, so why don't you go to the jukebox and pick out whatever songs you would like to share with us and tell us the stories of why those songs have become important to you, because that's what we do here at Mel's. And every song that you choose is going to be curated into a playlist, which will be in the link in the show notes, both a Spotify playlist and Apple Music. But while you're at the jukebox, I would like to make you some food. We are at a diner, and it is my time. Well, yeah, your time too. 7:46 p.m.
Mhm.
So, getting early evening here. We're at a diner. What is your order at the diner if you're sitting at the diner at 7:46 p.m.?
Wow, it's a bit late for me at a diner. No, my normal diner fare would be a turkey club, but it's kind of
Turkey
late.
club, white bread.
Yeah.
Okay, bacon, lettuce, tomato,
Oh yeah. Mayonnaise.
cut into 4 pieces with toothpicks going all the way through.
Yes. And
Yeah,
cut into
cut into
triangles.
triangles. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so turkey club, white bread. Is that what
Mhm.
you said? Yeah, and anything to drink? Any side?
Iced tea and chips.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
and a spear pickle. I need a pickle on the side.
oh, of course. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get you a turkey club, some chips, some potato chips. Tea. Do you want sweet tea?
I actually don't like it sweet.
Okay. Well,
I
Mel's
didn't grow up
Diner
in the
is may
South.
not
I
be in the
can't
South for you.
tell.
Yeah. um, and a pickle side. That sounds amazing, actually. That sounds really good. Welcome back. You got your songs?
I do.
Okay. Well, what you got for your first one?
My first one is a Dean Martin. I told you I grew up listening to Dean Martin when my sisters and I were swimming in the pool. I chose Volare, which is one of his songs that is sung partly in Italian. And when I was a kid, I used to float around in the pool singing it with him and trying to sing the Italian with him. And I thought, man, when I'm an adult, I'm going to know Italian just because sang this song.
Oh, do you know Italian? I must
I
ask.
don't.
Not yet. Not
No,
yet. Have you been to Italy?
no.
Not yet. Not yet. Um, well, that's amazing. So this song would be playing in the like every time this was when you were swimming and putting on D Martin, it was this song.
Yeah, so back then it was CDs. My sisters and I always listened to CDs, and we would bring the CD player out, and we had a few different Dean Martin CDs, but one of them, the first track on the disc was Volare. And so as soon as I hear that to this day, I can smell chlorine. I can feel the sun on my face. It's just a fantastic song. That song just screams summer to me, even though it's something about love, I think.
Well, if you spoke Italian, you would know.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah, and your pool, like it was right in the backyard of your house, right? Like kind of some curves. It was like it wasn't a square pool, it was kind of oval,
Yeah,
had
it's
some
kind of
curves to it.
bean, like a bean. Weird.
Yeah. And you're floating around on your back.
Well, we had pool noodles.
Okay.
We kind of went through things. We almost always had pool noodles, and sometimes we had inner tubes. And one year we got giant inflatable orca whales. And when they were all in the pool, there was like no room to swim. You were just like holding onto a whale and stationary.
I could see like me and my brother. I don't remember this, but I would imagine if this happened and we were there, we'd be like trying to run across the whole the whole pool, like just
Yeah.
on these inflatables. But
Well,
and
remember
now,
we used
uh,
to do pool Olympics. when you and Wes were there. Remember we would
Yeah.
jump in and like shout a shape and try to do that shape in the air, and then we'd all like rate how well we did it.
Yeah, this is pre-internet, pre-cell phones. This is mid-90s summer. And when you got Dean Martin playing, do you listen to a lot of Dean Martin like that? Like, yeah, like this Rat Pack or Dean Martin stuff, like always in the summer, or just like
Well, I still, every time I go home in the summertime, I will still turn on Dean Martin now through Spotify. Um, Anytime that I get my parents' pool, I have to turn it on. Like I almost can't swim without Dean Martin. He's like a life jacket now.
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. I also
I,
listen to him on the road in the summertime. Like if I'm driving to my parents' house or driving down to Chrissy's in the summer, then I'll turn on Dean Martin.
very cool. What you got for number two?
Number two is One Way Ticket by LeAnn Rimes. So when I was like, I don't know, I don't even know how old I was, about 13, LeAnn Rimes is about my age. And she hit the country music scene. And I was sitting in my dad's office one day, and my Uncle Vance came in, and he was like, Laura, there's this new country music singer, and she reminds me so much of you. And you would just love her. You need to look her up, LeAnn Rimes. And so I did look her up. I don't know what about her reminded him of me. I don't know what connection he made in his mind about it. But I think because he wanted there to be a connection, that I was like, well, there must be a connection.
Sure.
I think it was really cool to me that she was about my age and doing something that she loved. And the song that she became really famous for, I never really cared for. She sang Blue, Patsy Cline's country music song Blue. And everybody was like, wow, she has such a powerful voice. But it was actually I think it's the second song on that track was One Way Ticket. And I loved that song. It just made me feel like there is a great big future out there. And I want a one-way ticket to that future. And that song, I would play it when I was like vacuuming. One of my chores growing up was to clean our bathroom in the back, the one my sisters and I shared, and vacuuming. And so I would like put my Walkman on with my headphones and listen to LeAnn Rimes singing One Way Ticket.
That's really fascinating. So you felt something through this song, like you felt like you felt like you wanted a one-way ticket out of your home, out of your life, out of Maryland, like what,
Well,
or
not
you just felt like she's singing about a world that exists that you weren't exposed to or you weren't in. Like, yeah, can you say more about that? That's really interesting.
Yeah, not so much out of my life because I had a really I mean, I have amazing parents and had a really great childhood. But I was really excited to grow up. I really wanted to have adventures, and I've always loved people, and I liked meeting new people. There was a woman, you probably remember her, that we went to church with when we were kids, Leah, Leah Bennett, that was her name. Do you remember the Bennetts?
Laura, my memory is not as good as most people. Yeah.
Okay,
But
well, anyway,
I'm glad you remember this Leah.
so we went to church with a lady named Leah Bennett, and she was from Panama, and she had an accent because she spoke Spanish originally. And I felt like meeting her was just knowing her was just so cool. She was from this country that I had never been to, and it felt like anybody that lived in a different country had an adventure. Like if you lived, I don't know why I don't think feel this way now, but as a kid, I felt like there's America and we all do American things, but everybody out of America has adventures. And so the idea of adventure was really strong to me, and I wanted to get out and meet other people like Miss Leia and, have adventures.
And this song, this One-Way Ticket by LeAnn Rimes, that like tapped into that feeling.
Oh yeah. I mean, once you hear it, once we get it playing, you'll get it. It's just full of hope and expectation. And I mean, she's a teenager, so it's got some of that a little bit of teenage angst, and I'm going to do something about it kind of attitude. But I mean, for me as a teenager, that just really resonated.
That's incredible. I think it's a really powerful, and this is, if anyone's been listening to Mels for a while, this happens, these stories keep coming up of like these songs when we're kids that kind of put words to an emotion that we're feeling, or actually even maybe even kind of bestowing us with an emotion or changing our emotion as we listen to these songs that tap into kind of some of our deepest desires that we're either aware of or not aware of. It's just stirring something up that's in us. That's beautiful. Yeah.
I just remember there's a line in the song. She says, I'll talk to someone I don't know.
Mm.
And I think that was the thing that, like I said, meeting other people and hearing about their adventures and their lives was so intriguing to me.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because a lot of songs, like, I don't, well, not a lot of, there are a whole genre of songs that are adventure songs. They're story songs, right? Especially in country western music. But to have a song that is not so much about, well, yeah, not so much about a specific adventure, but causing you to want to go on an adventure yourself. Like that's a really powerful thing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What's next? What's number 3?
So number 3 is Eye of the Tiger by Survivor, which is the opening song on the Rocky 3 soundtrack. So the Rocky movies, probably if I had an end of the world movie list, like you can keep, like 5 movies, I would have to keep the Rocky movies. So when I was like 16, I had been out with my driving instructor to get my driver's license, and I felt awful. I felt like weird in my head. I got a headache and my throat was feeling really dry and achy. And by the time I got home, I was like, man, I don't think I'm well. So, my mom, I think it was a Friday, my mom sent my dad out and said, go rent some movies from, I think it was either Blockbuster or the library. She go rent some movies for the weekend, get something good, Laura's sick. And he came back with Rocky. And my mom said, the girls aren't going to like Rocky. I don't know if it was the fever talking or what, but I loved Rocky with my whole heart. Rocky just hit like everywhere that counted. Because I mean, it's the classic underdog story. Growing up, my favorite movie when I was really little was Disney's Cinderella animated feature. And Rocky's kind of like the grown-up boxing version of Cinderella story, kind of. And so I love the soundtracks from all the Rocky 1 through 4, but I think the one, like if I could only pick one song, it would be Eye of the Tiger. And to this day, I don't have the greatest singing voice, but if that song comes on, it's got to be.
Yeah, I think anybody who's familiar with that song, I mean, I think pretty sure everyone's familiar with that song, but yeah, it's the first like 3 notes when they hit, like everyone's like, oh boy, here we go.
I'm just like tuning. It sounds like he's just like tuning his electric guitar, and then all of a sudden it's just this fantastic chord. It just hits
absolutely.
You. Yeah.
That's a really sweet memory. I mean, not being ill, but like, a really sweet memory of having a movie night, not feeling good, putting something on, and all of a sudden this movie changes your life, or maybe not. I don't know, change. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but just impacts you. Like you're just fascinated by this movie, this character. That's really cool. That's really sweet.
Also, what's really cool, you can cut this later if you want, but what's really cool is when I graduated from my MFA in 2014, the Rocky Broadway was out. So Sylvester Stallone actually produced a musical Broadway version of Rocky, the first one.
Really?
And you wouldn't think that would work, but it actually worked really well. If you ever want to, you should go look up the score to the Rocky Broadway, and it's so good. And my parents treated me to that Broadway when I graduated. So they drove me up to Connecticut to watch me do my graduation stuff. And then my dad drove me, straight into New York City. We parked in this ridiculously expensive parking garage on Broadway and went and hopped out and saw the Rocky movie or Broadway. It was incredible.
That's awesome. I love that. And so does this song, Eye of the Tiger, does this kind of encapsulate all of Rocky to you, or?
I think it does. I think of all the songs, um, it's so storied in a like sequential way. Obviously, a story is sequential, but because Rocky is a series of movies, that song is kind of encapsulating the series. Where the first verse is like you're rising up, you're on the streets, you're fighting just to survive, and then the second verse is um, you've succeeded, but you let it go to your head, and now you've got to get your grip back because you still need to survive. Like, don't forget what you're doing. And then the third verse is like, you're on the top and you need to still keep that, what you've learned in mind. And so, yeah, it's just an incredible song. And sometimes even if it's not on somewhere, I will just think about it. Like my dad recently had a major heart surgery, and while he was recovering, it was a really hard recovery, and he was uh, really medicated one day. I'll have to ask him if it's okay to say this. He was really medicated one day and feeling kind of low. And I said, "It's okay, Dad. You can do this. You've got the eye of the tiger." And he very hoarsely whispered back, "It's the eye of a kitten."
Oh, well, I mean, you gotta, even that is a little bit of hope, a little bit of gumption, a little bit of action. Yeah, that's all you need. And as of recording this, your dad's doing well, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's great. Um, I'll tell you a real quick funny story about this song was when the TV show Survivor came out, the show
Yeah, yeah.
CBS, it's been on for I don't know how many seasons.
Yeah.
But when it first came out, my family, we were living in Pennsylvania at the time, just outside of Philadelphia, and the local kind of rock station, they have this like morning shock jock kind of, morning DJ like radio station. I worked in this construction job, and we would listen to this. But and this one part of outside of Philadelphia, they had this camper where I think it was like 8 or 10 people were inside of this RV on the city street, and they just played Eye of the Tiger over on repeat. And the concept was who could survive the longest, because it was just 24 hours a day, Eye of the Tiger on repeat over and over again. And the last one standing won,
Yeah.
and it went on for about 2 or 3 days, and the city of Philadelphia made them shut it down for all of these like noise ordinances and stuff like that. So I don't think anybody actually won. But when I hear that song, I think, my goodness, could I hear that? I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could listen to this song on repeat for days at a time.
Oh, I could.
Yeah, I'm glad that, yeah, maybe you should have joined that. That's amazing. Sweet. All right, so number 4.
Number 4 is a Randy Newman, "You've Got a Friend in Me." So of course that's from the Toy Story movie, but that one is pretty special to me because makes me think of my friend Sarah. We've been friends. We've actually known each other over half our lives now. We met our freshman year of college and did not like each other. But we had each other, we were in classes with each other. I mean, almost every semester we had some kind of connection. And we graduated, and it wasn't until we were both applying to master's programs to get our MFAs in writing that we started actually connecting, and admitted to each other that we saw the other as like a major rival. And we had a lot of like little jealousy things going on with just like the writing world, and but we ended up being each other's rock going through these MFA programs for writing. I mean, it was intense. Like that, those 2 years were we were working full time, in full time MFA programs, and we were full time teachers. So college teachers, and you're just never off. You're just on all day long. You wake up and you go teach and you meet with students, and you have other college responsibilities, and then you've got to get this degree done, and you're trying to basically write a book in 2 years. So that was just a lot, and we we needed each other to survive. So we became very good friends. And the second summer, we had a student who invited us to Disney World, and she was working there and she could get us in free. And so we drove down to Disney World, and we were both kind of thinking like, this is going to be silly. Disney World is for kids. I mean, I grew up watching all the Disney movies and loved them, of course. But we got to Magic Kingdom, and I can't even tell you what kind of pixie dust they showered over us, but it like changed everything. I was like, this is the happiest I've ever been in my life. I was so happy I was crying, and I couldn't even tell you why. It was just, I loved that place. And so Disney kind of became our thing. We ended up getting annual passes. We were annual pass holders. Back then, this was like, I don't know, what, 14 years ago. They were significantly cheaper than they are now. And we were Florida residents. So that made it very doable. But Disney became our place. And she was just such a, and still is, such a wonderful friend to me that whenever this song comes on, I'm like, this is my song to you. And what's really funny about Randy Newman is that he's done several Pixar movies, and he's done a lot of them about friend and big friends, We Belong Together, and but all of them, I was like, man, he always captures like Sarah and me. We really are like Wood and Buzzy, or like Mike and Sully.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, and this is from the first Toy Story, like when it
Yeah.
all started. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's really cool. And it's what a sweet thing to have a friend like for how many years? Like, well, over half your life, you said.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we met in 2004, but became real friends in 2012, I guess it would have been.
That's cool. I mean, like just the idea of having, yeah, somebody in your life that you can like, yeah, consider a friend. Because I have had friends, but some of them have just like our friendships have changed or we have changed, and that has affected our friendships. But to have somebody that you love and care for so much that's, been with you through MFA programs and now still part of your life, that's incredible. Yeah. May we all be so lucky.
Yes. Mhm.
That's sweet, Laura. All right. So number 5.
Number 5 is The River Lee by Adele.
Excellent. Yeah.
Uh, so this one is like, this song came at a really big turning point in my life. I had been, from the time that I went to college as a freshman, I got my bachelor's at school, and then I got my first master's from that same school, and I was teaching at that school, that college, while I was working on my MFA. So I was there for a really long time, about 11 years total, which is like a quarter of my life currently. So I spent a lot of time there, and that started out a really okay thing. It obviously made my best friend there. I learned a lot there, and got a good education, but that ended up being a really bad fit for me by the end. Really bad fit spiritually, emotionally, even physically. It was a really hard time. Like I ended up developing anxiety really badly through all of that. Like the workload was really intense, and just the culture of the school was really intense. I'm a perfectionist by nature, and this is all, of course, me personally. Anybody who knows me who's still there, I don't want them to think that I'm like hating on or dissing. This was a bad fit for me personally. I'm a perfectionist, and my drive to be excellent in the way that I felt was expected of me was kind of eating me alive, and I didn't realize it until I broke. And so, yeah, I had my first ever panic attack in the classroom while I was teaching, and that just kind of changed everything for me. I kind of lost the joy of teaching because I didn't want to go back in the classroom. And nobody told me what a panic attack was or what anxiety was. Not even my doctor was really that great. Like I went to my doctor after it happened because I felt like, oh man, I'm dying. It's like something's wrong with my heart, or I'm like, something's not right. And he was like, oh, I think you just had a little little attack, like just breathe in a paper bag if you ever feel that happening again. And I was like, okay, but am I dying? I don't understand. So then, like when you don't know, when you don't have understanding, your brain, or at least my brain, goes to worst case scenarios. And so I just kept thinking, I'm dying. Like I'm dying. Like something's wrong with me and I don't know what it is. Because I just felt terrible. I felt now I have the language to say I didn't then, but I was very overstimulated because I was on all the time from sun up to sundown. And then, of course, adding working on an MFA in the middle of all of that certainly did not help. But I didn't know that I was very overworked and tasked. Wow. Um, and so I got to the point that I knew I had to leave and I didn't know where to go or what to do. I had kind of always seen myself just teaching English, and now I didn't want to teach anymore because I was having what I now knew was anxiety attacks. And so I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. So my friend Sarah and I were kind of both in the same place, coming from different perspectives, but we decided we were going to leave together and just kind of see where we landed. And we landed at Barnes and Noble. So she was working on the book side and I was in the cafe side. And that uh, it was the Christmas season of 2015. Adele's current CD was the Hello album, which is a fine song. But the song that got me the most was Riverly, because even though it's not apples for apples the same, I felt so deeply, and I still do feel so deeply, that she says the river's in me, and it's not ever going to come out of me. And I had to come to grips with the fact that 11 years of my life was going to be in me forever, and I'm not going to be able to get it out of me. If there's a line in that song where she says, I blame it on the River Lee. And I kind of do that. I kind of like, sometimes things will come out in me. Like I'll start feeling really anxious again, or I'll start feeling angry about a situation. And I know it's because there's kind of a learned experience going on. And I'm like, I just got to blame it on the River Lee. Which is actually really helpful. It's kind of healing in a way to be able to say, like, that's in me, and there's good and there's bad in it. There was a lot of good that came from it. There was also some bad that came from it. And that makes up who I am. And what I do with that is really the story. The story is not that it's in me. It's that it's in me, and I can choose how I'm going to live because of it.
Wow. Thank you, Laura, for sharing that. And honestly, I would say that it's like you wouldn't have the story you have without it, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
your story is your story because of your River Lee, or because of that time in your life. And I have and anyone who's listening, like, we're all in the midst of something or just coming out of something, and some people's River Lee is really challenging, very, very, very hard. And there's no, and some people's pasts are very, very are filled with trauma, real trauma, and violence, and things like that. Just terrible things. And for some of us, it takes a lifetime to come to these thoughts because of the trauma that's been inflicted. But something that a friend of mine a long time ago said was, someone who came from just a crazy story, and it's her story to tell. But the fact is, she said that I'm a product of my past and not a prisoner of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really a really important kind of thing to realize when you're on the other side of something, and it's like that thing that's behind me in my past, it's either gonna imprison me, or I'm a product of it. And that product can be, the whole spectrum of things. And hopefully the hope is that we're better because
Yeah.
of it, and another one thing that I like to think about is I'm not, like in my life particularly, it's like I think about this a lot. I'm only here because I was there,
Yeah.
like, and I
Mhm.
wouldn't be here right now if I wasn't there then, So
Yeah.
whatever that there is, like there is some, I don't know. Our stories are written because of the things that have happened, and a lot of those things are painful.
Yeah.
Um, wow, that's really incredible. So, and that's really, I think, Laura, that the beautiful thing about these stories is like, I think anybody that's going to listen to this song after the story is we're going to listen to this song and think, what's my River Lee? What's the thing that I have in me that I'm not going to get out, that's not going to come out of me, that
Yeah.
maybe will show itself every now and then, or I'm a product. Well, that's really powerful. I don't know if you want to have anything else to say to that, or, I
No,
mean,
but thank you
okay.
for letting me say it. I don't think I've ever said all of that out loud.
That's really beautiful. I mean, I know it's very painful to say, but it's really, I think it seems like you're in a really good place because, or, coming through that.
Oh
And
yeah.
thankfully we have, like, my kids, I have a teenage daughter, like she knows what overstimulation is.
Yeah.
My son knows what anxiety is about, like, and depression, like, and thankfully, like, as these kids that are growing up now, like we have language for this, like what you were saying, you didn't have language, and just putting words, so you don't have to jump to the worst case scenario. It's just like, oh, this is what's happening and this is why. And this
Yeah.
is how we can deal with it, versus breathe into a paper bag. Like, who was your doc? Were you going to say Dr. Seuss? I mean, like, who would, a medical professional just told you to breathe into a bag?
Yeah, I mean, this guy he was my primary care doctor, but looking back, I'm kind of like, I think I went to him because he was the recommended doctor that other people were going to, but he was about ready to retire and he needed to.
And this was in Florida?
Yes.
Okay. All right. No.
Pretty sure he's nowhere around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that. And if you want to move on, we can go to track number 6 now if you'd like. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my next two are lean a little spiritual, but number 6 is Be Still My Soul by Bifrost artists. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Well, yeah. Our the previous episode, our guest Becca Booth, she also had a Bifrost artist. So this is
uh,
2 episodes in a row where Bifrost has been in. So this is great.
well, that's cool. So after going through everything with leaving Florida and eventually I started working for a nonprofit up in northern Kentucky where I am now, and but I wasn't full time. It's kind of hard to tell my story without also including Sarah in it because our lives have been so mingled together. We got hired by Barnes and Noble together, and then we also got hired by this nonprofit ministry up in northern Kentucky. And she got hired for a full-time position. I was hired for a part-time position, and I ended up asking to go contract because I started teaching adjunct online, and I started working on becoming a freelancer, which is work that I really love to do. So during all of that, I had time to be by myself in a way that I never was before. Um, because of course I grew up with two sisters and we were all always together and always in each other's, it just fully integrated in each other's lives. And then at college, of course, you're never alone when you're at college. And so I finally had time in which I was in an apartment by myself. And because of the nature of freelance work, you work when you have work and you work your own hours, there was just time that I had never had before. And I started asking those big questions like, what do I really believe? And how much is it that I believe or that I've been told I believe? And am I only believing these things out of fear and expectation, others' expectations? And not even just like, what do I believe, like big picture things, but even like those smaller things about choices you make for your everyday life. Like, why is it that I will do this and I won't do that? And I needed to have a sure foundation to know what I really believed. So I spent a lot of time reading the Bible and reading other books, finding new authors, and what a song that just really hit me during that time was Be Still My Soul, because I realized that while I was in in Florida, I kind of always felt like I was never good enough for the school that I was working for. I could never measure up. I could never be perfect enough. And um, there was even kind of a spirit of be good or God will get you. And when I heard Be Still My Soul, and which I grew up singing it, but you know, sometimes lyrics hit you later in life. I heard that song, Be Still My Soul, the Lord is on your side. And that just hit me in a whole new way. Like the Lord is on my side. Like what does that mean? Like, and so it was very freeing in my own spiritual life and journey to learn that because of grace, I'm not constantly earning, like not just salvation, but earning the right to be loved by God. Like somebody at my church actually recently said, God's smile is on you. And that has just changed my whole spiritual life to know that I can be still, like me, somebody who struggles still, not nearly as badly, but still with anxiety. Like, be still, the Lord is on your side. So yeah, that song was just really formative when I was starting this new epoch in my life.
And it sounds to me like, you know, you mentioned your friend Sarah and Randy Newman's song. It sounds like it's also true, not just about God, but you don't have to earn the love of these people in your life either. And mention your dad and your sisters, like you got a
Yeah.
whole army of people that like love you for exactly who you are. And if whether you're anxious or not about it, like we're
Mhm.
all on your side, Laura, you know, and I think other people who may be struggling with similar things might be hearing you and be like, well, being still like terrifies me, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like I have to earn my, you know, people's love or respect, or like who am I without that? But to know that you are loved despite what you do, or
Yeah.
even despite panic attacks and anxiety or depression, like that's it's really like, yeah, like what you said, freeing. It's very, very
And it's hard.
beautiful.
It's one of those things that I have to remind myself of often. Like, so I'll find myself just feeling really anxious or feeling bad about myself. And I don't know if you experience this because you're a firstborn too, but I kind of feel like firstborns, maybe just firstborn females, um, have sense a lot of like responsibility and a lot of performative-ism. I think because we were the first ones and our parents, I mean, parents tend to be really impressed by their firstborn. Like, oh, it talks. And so we kind of, I don't know, we just kind of grow up wanting to please. And so like that perfectionist nature is also a very people-pleasing nature. And so that becomes I'm looking for, are you pleased with me? Are you happy with me? Are you mad at me? Am I, you know, like, even though nobody has ever asked you to be that way. I mean, maybe some people have, but in general, it's something that you've just kind of taken on yourself. And you have to be reminded, I have to remind myself often that, you know, you want to be you want to be kind and do your best. But yeah, my soul can be still because I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna be perfect in this life, you know.
That's
To
well said. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some, you know, social studies, so you know, sociologists, psychologists, the birth order. There's definitely some stuff that go with that, and I mean, there's a ton of variables, birth order, and yeah,
Yeah.
gender, and like, um, you know, parents, and you know, there's a ton of variables, but there is something to what you're saying. Yeah, I do associate, and I think a lot of people, regardless of their birth order, may find a lot in
Yeah.
common with what you're saying. So, um, yeah, what a sweet song, and what a sweet gift it sounded like it was to you at a
Yeah.
very specific time, especially coming off of what you had just mentioned with the Adele song. That's really, really sweet. What's number 7? You said these two go together.
Yeah, number 7 is Casting Crowns. Which feels, it makes me feel really old saying that because I know that was like such a big thing when I was in college. Casting Crowns, I will praise you in this storm. Which that they kind of go together, but in a different sort of way. Um, that song has just come to me every time I'm in a really hard season. Like, it was there when I was in this apartment in Northern Kentucky alone, sorting out uh, my life and who I was, what spiritually and what I believed. But it's also been there like during really hard seasons of work, when my job has been, because I've had different jobs between then and now, and just the really hard things that I went through with that, and with my dad's recent heart surgery. That song just popped in my head one day when I was um, just really down and really upset. Um, and it just kind of came into my mind, and I thought, yes, like it's such a grace to be able to say, I will praise you in this storm, because it's something we can't really say in and of ourselves. It's a choice, but it's also like I said, it's a grace because it doesn't really come naturally to us.
Yeah, and I agree, I totally agree. And like in the midst of the storm, it's like the worst. Yeah, it's almost sometimes it's just impossible to even like, how can I be thankful for this, you know? But
Yeah.
it's you know, for a lot of us who have gone through stuff like what you just talked about, when we come on the other side and we're like, oh, you know, I'm only here because I was there. When you're in one of those there times, you know what I mean? It's like this is going to
Yeah.
change me, and I'm you know, hopefully for the better. I mean, you can embitter yourself, you can turn your back on people you love or your God or whatever. And like, yeah, I mean, but it takes a lot of strength to say that. And really, I think that whole concept, I will praise you, or I will, you know, be thankful for this situation or whatever, it can all be boiled down to hope, you know, like there's still hope, you know.
Mhm.
And I think I mentioned this on another episode, but it's just like hope can be one of the most powerful things. It's right up there with love. You know, I think love and hope are like two of the most powerful things that can affect our lives in way more ways than we understand,
Oh
you know?
yeah.
So, yeah. So there's always hope, you know, there's always hope. And I know some people that may feel hopeless, but
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have hope in something, you know? So
Yes.
amazing.
You want to move
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. Number 8.
Yeah, number 8, Elton John, I'm Still Standing. Yes, that I actually just, I mean, I knew who Elton John was pretty much my whole life because he sang in The Lion King. But I discovered Elton John as an adult just about, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago. And I didn't realize how much that guy could really like sing what you're feeling, you know? And when I heard I'm Still Standing, I like what you were just saying, like there's hope, like hope in all of this. And also you start realizing all what you said before, I'm only here because I was there. And I'm able to keep standing because I have a strength that I gained back then. And I know his song "I'm Still Standing" is basically a breakup song. I'm totally drawing a meaning out of this that he's not specifically singing.
Yeah,
But
well, this is art. This is art. It can mean whatever you want it to mean.
but when I heard that song, I was like, yes, this is like the song. Um,
And it's very upbeat. It's a very Eye
yes,
of the Tiger-esque, you know, it's
yes.
very like that, just really fast tempo piano. Um, you know, you kind of want to fight somebody when you hear it, just like Eye of the Tiger, like, yeah. Peacock around a little bit, you know, but no,
Yeah, and I think it's that line too that gets me every time. Is he says, looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. And that is exactly how I feel. Like, man, I look like a survivor, but I feel like a little kid.
wow, that's that's deep. Yeah, that's really good. I'd never thought about it that way, but yeah, I say to my friends a lot, like, you know, I'm in my well, early, let's not get early 40s here, and it's like I still feel like I'm, you know, 22 years old. Like I still probably act like I'm 22. My body's like, dude, you need to stop doing some of this stuff, but feeling like a little kid. But to say it and to think of it in that context of um maybe like associated with fear or you know, anxiety of like that, but like kind of going through some hard stuff, like I look like I, you know. But anyway, that's really cool. And I
Yeah.
love how you said that came from where you've been. Like you've got scars, um and they've made, you know, I don't know if tougher is the right word, but like you've you have experience and you've understood like, I can still stand, I can still get through this stuff because of the lessons I learned. That's really powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's that idea of, when you're, I don't know if you remember this, growing up, you do fourth grade and you're like, man, long division was hard. But then you get to fifth grade and you're like, oh, that's so easy. But then your little sister is coming up behind you and you're like, you're going to be fine. That's easy. But then you look at your math and you're like, oh no, this is hard. I can't do this. And so there's always that struggle of, man, I'm still standing. I did survive, but I feel like a little kid because now I have this other new thing and I don't know if I'll survive this one. And it is that memory of oh, I've done this before. I've been through hard things before that kind of gives you a mental strength to do the next thing.
Wow, that's really profound. Yeah. I don't even want to add anything to that. That's really profound. Yeah. That's cool. This was also this was also in like an animated movie. Sing, right? The movie Sing.
Oh, I don't
Is
think
that Pixar?
it's not Pixar, but I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, you should watch that one. It's good. Sing 1 and Sing 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey
Oh man.
is the voice of Mr. Moon, the koala bear. Yeah, this song definitely is big part of, I think it's the first one. I think you'll really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So number 9 is Sailboat by Ben Rector and Cody Fry. I I think it was 2 years ago, my friend Mariah gave me tickets to go see Ben Rector and Cody Fry in concert in Cincinnati at Cincinnati Music Hall. And I was like, this is really nice. Thank you. But why? I've never heard of these people and I don't listen to music with words all that often. Like this is such an odd gift. But they were very special to her and she wanted me to experience them with her. So she also had tickets and she was like, we're gonna go together and you're gonna experience these guys. And I I just love them. I'm not a concert person, but they were just phenomenal and they're such great singer-songwriters. And I think they hit a sweet spot with me because their lyrics are so poetic. And sometimes they'll have you just like smiling. And sometimes the first time I ever heard Cody Fry's song Photograph, I was sitting in a coffee shop and I just was like suddenly weeping. Like, oh, I got to pull myself together. I'm in a coffee shop. And when I heard their song Sailboat, which is actually Ben Rector's song, but then Cody Fry put orchestration to it. So Cody Fry, he sings, but he's also like big into orchestration. And Sailboat is about feeling stuck in life and having no idea where you're going, but trusting that the wind is going to blow and you're not going to be stuck forever. And that just embodies so much of how I have felt ever since leaving Florida and thinking, oh, I'm just going to be an English teacher forever. And then suddenly like having anxiety. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. I can't be a teacher anymore. What in the world am I going to do with my life? And I have had so many periods of feeling stuck. Like, now what? Like, what do I do? But trusting that, the wind is going to blow and it's going to blow you where you need to be. And you can trust that.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And there's definitely a thread through all of these songs, Laura, like very, very, or at least I can see this thread of just, honestly, like innocence of childhood and then kind of the pain of adulthood.
Yeah.
Just having like the head on your shoulders to say like, this is hard, but I'm going to like keep going. I'm not going to give up through this, and trust and have hope and go through it with the people that I love and care about and who love and care about me. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah. And I think it kind of all comes together with my final song,
Which is
Rainbow Connection by the one and only Kermit the Frog.
excellent.
That song feels very nostalgic and it almost sounds like a lament. Like if you just read the words, it feels like a lament. Like, why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? Like somebody thought of that and somebody dreamed it. but I know they're wrong, wait and see. And like the idea of why does everybody say it's gonna be fine or it's gonna be whatever, like this, but actually that's all like almost I don't know how to say it, almost it's not a hope as in a sure hope. It's wishful thinking. But I feel like the song is saying, um, all of us together, this is where we need to focus. Like there's just so much, and things are hard, and we can dream, we can be nostalgic about the past, we can be wishful thinking for the future. But when we focus on today, like who we're with and who we love today, and um, we put our energy into that, that's really the best place to put our energy. You know, not that you never think about the future, of course, but um, just being grateful, I think, for what you have and feeling a little bit of that sadness while, I mean, he's playing a banjo. It still feels kind of like happy, even though it's a little bit sad. So I feel like that's kind of where a lot of living happens.
Oh, exactly. That was exactly what I was thinking. It was like that's like life, you know. It's like at every moment, it's like it's a little bit happy, a little bit sad.
Uh,
Sometimes the sad is like all you can see, and the happiness is kind of hidden, or it's out the window and it's not in the room as you're hearing the diagnosis or whatever. Like things are just hard, and but some moments are just incredibly beautiful, and there's sadness behind the scenes of that. And but I really appreciated what you said. It was like, you know, we can we can hold the past and we can hold the future. Like these are good things to have and to be remembered of and look forward to. But it's like the people and the moments that we're in presently. That's where I mean that's all we got, right? That's the magic. That's yeah, where we're living right now. It's a really good reminder, Laura. So I really appreciate that. And all of your songs. I mean, I feel like once we got, yeah, as you were growing up and kind of the latter half of this is just a lot of life lessons that you've learned and heard songs that connected. And now we, as we listen, can, you know, think about our lessons that we've learned in our life. In the first half, just the innocence and sweetness of childhood and the beauty of Rocky movies and movie nights, you know, as you're sick, you know, at home is just, I mean, just thinking of these songs as a, very and you laid it out as kind of the story of your life. It's what a beautiful life that you've lived thus far, you know. And
yeah.
um I don't want to get all wishful thinking about the future, you know, because we need to be in the present, but I, it's yeah, it's exciting. I think you have been on a lot of adventures, and ever since yeah, that would you say 13-year-old girl vacuuming the floor, like your life has been full of adventures, and you've got stories and scars to tell us. And thanks for sharing them today. I really appreciate it. This was awesome.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is well, your turkey club is here.
Okay.
And your tea, I'm having some sweet tea. You can have some regular tea. But let's cue up the jukebox and listen to these songs. This is amazing.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Laura. This was incredible.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting Mel's Diner today. We love serving you those very important stories and songs, and we really hope you become a regular. If you or someone you know would love to be on the show, please reach out to me, melsdinerjukebox@gmail.com. And a playlist of all the songs that were selected from the jukebox today can be found in a link in the show notes. And now, as we listen to each song through the lens of those amazing stories, we share in the connection that we just built through the power of great music and incredible people.